I'm finally making the video on sensory therapy. I'm going to start off rambling about it, and then I will show you my stash of smelly things that I'm currently using. Before I get into that though, fix your posture and get my t-shirts. I don't know, I've got to shill at some point, right? That's what they tell me. Anyway, yeah, so sensory therapy. Obviously, if you're following my channel, you must know that I have a lot of mental illness. If you don't know and you somehow got here by accident, first of all, my condolences, because my channel is absolute chaos. And so are my videos. I don't script them, so this could be, I don't know, we'll see how we go. But basically, my diagnosis, my main diagnosis, I would say, is schizoid personality disorder. I also have major depressive disorder and get depressed a lot, but it's different when you're schizoid, which is annoying. And then I get bits and pieces of dissociation. I need to talk about that some more though, because some of my perspective on it is changing, and I don't have any formal diagnosis, and I've been a bit iffy about some of the suggestions that certain professionals have made about me. Anyway, so that's an overview of my issues. Now, with my treatment, talk therapy hasn't really been achieving very much. I like my current psychologist though, and, you know, doing the best that we can. I can't take medications because they have bad side effects. So if standard therapy and medication aren't working well for me, and I'm not in a situation where I can do the brain magnets, transcranial magnetic stimulation thing, I'm kind of stuck, right? So I was looking for a kind of therapy or something that I could do to help, and especially when my soul dog passed away and I was in a really bad state. So how I got into sensory therapy. Okay, what is sensory therapy? I guess I'm talking about like grounding is what it's usually used for. Which grounding is supposed to bring your thoughts back to the present, and you do that often with your senses. Now, sensory therapy, like, you know, they will do things like, list 5 things you can see, and 4 things you can touch, and however many things you can smell, taste, hear. Yeah, so there's techniques like that. Sensory therapy, though, like those things where you focus on your senses, I don't know how much they work for me, because first of all, I am very like in my head, and what helps me disconnect from when I get into one of those depressive spirals, I mean, sometimes it's really hard to get out of a depressive spiral, and often I kind of just have to let it pass. Or if it usually happens late at night, so I'll just go to bed and hope that I wake up with a brain reset. And sometimes it works, sometimes I wake up and I still have a bit of that kind of feeling, but then it'll wear off the next day, or maybe the day after that. But what's more effective if I really need to just bring myself out of a spiral is to try and distract myself, whether that's with these horrible black belt Ken super tough nerd puzzles. It's like Sudoku but with maths. Like legit, let me show you a page. Yeah, maths. That chuck on a YouTube video, watch YouTube while doing that, not entirely focus on the YouTube video, because then I'm like, hang on, what numbers multiply to make 1120 or 1120, and then trying to like get calculators. Anyway, it distracts me, and then I have less time to think about whatever's getting me down, but that doesn't always work because emotions aren't always like that. But like, why sensory therapy I was a little bit iffy is because when I dissociate, like, okay, there's a few different ways I dissociate. I'm talking specifically about identity disturbance, and the other part of me actually tends to be more sensory than myself in my normal state of being. So things like touch, especially cold things, that can actually set off the dissociation or exacerbate the dissociation, which is better than being depressed, but it's still not entirely a healthy way of coping with things. So, yeah, the things about, and like, you know, pointing out things I can see, I don't give a shit. So none of that really helps. But what I've been getting into specifically, I realized one sense that I've been neglecting most of my life is my sense of smell. And how I got onto this whole idea is, you know, I've got these spray deodorants Dove deodorant. They seem to work quite well for me. I don't like roll-on deodorants because, I mean, I don't shower that often. I've gotten better over time. I now shower once a week. Well done me. This is what depression does to you. It's better than showering once a month or showering I can't remember the last time I showered, which is what I used to do. And so, you don't want to get a roller thing and put deodorant over sweat. So that's why I have spray deodorants, and I spray twice a day, even though it says it does 24 hours. It's just like morning and night, and that's how I get away with not showering. Probably helps that I'm female and sweat less, and I don't do heaps of exercise that would make me stinky. Anyway, so Mum will tend to buy them for me because I'm not generally trusted with the grocery shopping or with coming grocery shopping because in the past, when I came along, the price of the cart would go up. Anyway, so Mum would buy them for me, but every now and then they have a special, and Mum sometimes gets carried away, and if they're all on special, she would get every single smell that they have and just bring home this huge bundle of deodorants for me, all Dove deodorant, but just different smells. And so when I go through them, I would notice, like, when you first spray the deodorant, it's like, oh, that's a strong smell. But then you go nose blind to it and it chills out over time and then you don't smell it. But then I would move on to the next smell and it would be a different smell and I'd be like, oh, that's different. And it sort of did get my attention. And so I thought, maybe in terms of all this grounding stuff where you use your senses to snap out of a dissociation or snap out of a mental health, and I can't click. As you can see, yeah, I can't, it starts to hurt too fast. Anyway, I still pretend though. Yeah, no, I just thought, like, the smell, because it's something different that I'm not used to, maybe that is a sensory therapy thing that I could actually do. Will it pull me out of a depressive spiral or a dissociation? I don't know, but I thought it would be worth a try. Just something to catch my attention, especially I was going through so much grief with my dog Hope after he passed away that I just, like, I was desperate to try something. So I thought I would try that. So that means, like deodorant, that's just one thing that I use every day. And yeah, I'm not going to get like a whole army of deodorants and use them. I would use the whole thing first and then move on to the next one. It just feels a bit too weird to use a different deodorant scent every day. So yeah, looking into that, I started to get into, I've got my little corner of perfumes there. And I did make a short a while back about my Scent God subscription, because I don't want to buy like a big thing of perfume that I don't know, and I'm like, I don't want to go nose blind to it. So, yeah, I got one of those subscriptions. It took a while because, there's a few different perfume subscription services, and some of them are not actually based in Australia, and then some of them, it looks like they started strong but then lost interest, whereas Scent God, they keep updating their social media and they keep having newsletters and all that. So I started off with just like a little set of minis, a discovery set of their premium ones. And when that came through and it was fine, I was like, okay, I'll subscribe. And I subscribed a year up front. So now I've got a year of perfumes, whether I want them or not. That's sort of where I started with the sensory therapy. And then I have since moved on to realizing, okay, so before I get ahead of myself, like, is this helping? Well, in the morning I will spray some perfume, and before I got Triton, my new puppy, I was spraying, like, I noticed in my elbow inside, I don't even know what you call it, and then you can go like that and smell it, and I found it worked quite well there for me. I haven't really done that since I got him because I don't want him to like lick my arms and lick the perfume because I don't know if it's safe necessarily. Although he really likes perfumes, so maybe because he's been around my perfume corner the whole time and is just like, that's good, and like I smell different every day, and so maybe he's learned to like it. But yeah, did it actually help with any of the grief? I don't think so. Because yes, it's a different smell, and briefly when I spray it, it's like, and occasionally with some of the longer lasting ones, like I'm only spraying them on my chest now, but with some of the longer lasting ones, I can either do that and have a sniff, or occasionally it'll just waft up, and then I'll be like, oh. And so throughout the day, I do get those moments of, oh, and it sort of catches my attention. But if I'm in a depressive spiral, it's probably not going to do that, really, because my brain is just, like, especially when it gets really bad, I cannot stop my brain from just going, ah, and like there's this silent screaming thing that happens, and there's all these physical sensations of some pretty intense pain, and it's just overwhelming. So I don't think the sensory therapy has actually helped with that. And, you know, like other forms of sensory therapy, because of the dissociation issue, which is kind of the backwards of how other people dissociate. Because, you know, most people, when they're dissociating, having that sensory input does help them, and for me it's the opposite. It's like it's more likely to make me dissociate. I don't know what that's about. But yeah, so none of the sensory therapy really helps me. But what is interesting for me, I mean, so if you don't know about schizoids, there's a lot of anhedonia and just no ability to enjoy stuff. It turns out I actually really like perfume and interesting smells. And I didn't figure this out, like I only figured this out because I tried the sensory therapy. And for me to find something that I actually like as a schizoid, and as someone with depression and all the anhedonia, like schizoid plus depression, that's a lot of anhedonia, and the inability to feel things and losing interest in everything. For me to find something that I actually like, that is where it actually helped. That's a big deal. That's telling me actually there are some things I can enjoy. So to come around about, okay, the sensory therapy thing didn't work as intended for me, but it helped in a different way. And now I have a new hobby of collecting things that smell nice. So it moved on from the Scent God subscription, and then I found Tragic Beautiful is a company in Queensland. They have a lot of body mists that are really nice. And then them and another company called Berserk that's also in Queensland, they're stocking these different perfumey things. And it's sort of gotten mildly out of hand, because then also, if you caught my birthday live stream, Mecca gave me a free perfume that smells, it's like by the fireplace, and it smells like I went on a murderous rampage, but in a classy way. And that's like, if I was going to have a signature scent, maybe that would be it. Although, some of the Tragic Beautiful ones are actually really nice too, and they're just body mists, but they last like all day. It's really cool, and they're not as expensive as a perfume, so hot tip there. But yeah, no, then I've also, before I got the new puppy, I was getting more into like scented candles. I've also got like someone's home earlier than expected. In the studio, which I won't show you, I do, like, someone gave me a wax burner kind of thing, but I haven't really been using that. Like, you can also put essential oils in it, but those things are known to be more risky around dogs. I haven't really been using them. But in that room, I do have a diffuser to make the room smell nice when I'm doing my artwork. And, oh gosh, someone, go there into another room. Okay. So distracting when other people are around. And then I was also like, my godmother actually got me one of the scented candles, which I haven't really finished. That was after my dog passed away. My wise godmother. And she also got me, I think for Christmas, a nice, I've already used it up, but there was, oh, Dad was here the whole time and now he's going out. Okay, I didn't need to know, it's fine. Hand soap, and it was like lavender and something else scented, and it was all about being calm, which I don't know if these things actually make me calm, but it's like, you know, if I'm washing my hands so much, it smells nice. And then I've started transitioning my shampoos to nicer smelling things and body washes to nicer smelling things, and I'm going through that whole process. That's why I need to make this video now, because I've almost run out of old shampoo, and so I'll show you what I used to have and what I have got now. And then Mecca sent a sample hair primer, which I don't know what hair primer is meant to be, but it smells nice, so occasionally I'll just use it because it smells nice. Now, why did I not realize that I like these kinds of smells? Well, it's because I think it's because my parents are both finance types, right? You know, that sort of accountant mindset is they're very utilitarian. And so, yes, you need soap in your life, but let's go for the cheapest bulk thing and be efficient with our money about it. The trouble with those bulk hand washes and whatever is they tend to be pretty boring smells, and also when you buy in bulk, you go nose blind to that so fast that you don't, even if it had a smell, you don't really smell it much. And, you know, if you want to be able to smell things, it's better to have smaller ones that you're changing frequently, or else, I guess, a couple that you use alternatingly whatever. Oh, also the soap that I got to clean my makeup brushes, because that's another thing I tried when I went off the rails. Actually, just before I went off the rails, but then I really went off the rails after Hope passed away. The soap that I used to do a deep clean on the makeup brushes, that's a really nice like rose smell as well. And sometimes it hasn't been wet in ages because I haven't been using makeup in ages, but every now and then, even though it's dry, I will get a bit of a smell from it, and it's kind of nice to just have that. Yeah, so I don't think I realized that this is something I liked because my parents don't do a lot of the nice smells. Although Mum has gotten diffusers for some of the other rooms since I started doing this and since I started showing her the perfumes that I've been getting in my subscriptions. So that's kind of interesting because I think like Mum does have a perfume. She's got like a sort of a signature scent, I guess, that she really likes, which I think is discontinued. So once she runs out, I'm not sure what she's going to switch to. But that's it. Like, it's just the one thing. She's one of those people who just buy the big bottle and then use it over a long period of time. But not very often. So you do smell it when she does use it, when she's going out to an event. But otherwise, that's pretty much my only exposure a lot of the time. Like, we never really had incense around the house like I did when I was a kid, but Mum didn't really like it because she grew up in Japan, and in Japan, incense she associates with Buddhist death ceremonies because, like, Japan is very much just taking from whatever you want when it suits you. So for the birth ceremonies, they go for Shinto, and for death ceremonies, they go for Buddhist ceremonies. Yeah, so she associated incense with death, so we never really did that. And then, yeah, it's just like, it's not a utilitarian thing. Smelly stuff is very much about just enjoying it for the sake of enjoying it. And I have tended to live my life in more of that utilitarian way. Obviously, I did get into goth fashion and so on, but before that, and the goth fashion and all that is part of the dissociated part of me, like that's what pushed me into that area. But before that, before I started opening up to that side of me, I was very much just as I am now, sort of wearing trackies or just jeans and a shirt, and, that's basic clothing that you need. Why go for anything else? And I think that tracks well with being schizoid as well, because, schizoids are just not very emotional, and so you go for the more logical options, and, emotion just doesn't factor into it. The thing is, as humans, not everything is pure logic. The logic is actually a fairly recent part of human evolution when you think about it. And it's very easy because it dominates so much of our modern life. It's very easy, especially if you have a mental illness like schizoid, or possibly if you have autism and you think in a very like logic centered way. And maybe there's a few others, and if you're depressed and have a lot of anhedonia, maybe you will go more for logic than feeling. But we are still evolved as creatures who will enjoy sensations, and there's an emotional stuff, and there's a lot of deep subconscious stuff that our logical brains aren't always aware of. And so I think it was actually worthwhile for me to try the sensory therapy, even though it didn't work as intended, because it helped me find something that is not logical that I actually enjoy. And, it's challenging that schizoid way of being. It's challenging my mental illness. Because, like, I've said this in other videos, if I just keep doing stuff like, yes, I don't really feel like schizoid is such an issue. I feel like the world is an issue, or things my parents do is an issue, or whatever. The thing is, I can only change what I can change. Like, I can't change the world, and I can't really change my parents, So all I can really do is work on myself. And while I don't really feel like I don't feel like my way of being is a problem, logically I can see that my way of being is not working in the world that I'm stuck living in. So I have to change things, I have to try things, I have to be open to the idea that my feeling of being fine is not actually fine. And so trying different things, challenging the assumptions that I've made that are part of the personality disorder. Like, personality disorders are deeply entrenched patterns of being. I have to challenge that if I want any hope of changing my life such that I don't keep getting depressed and hating life and wanting to not be here, because I'm too squeamish to try anything. I don't want to hurt myself, and I certainly don't want to be in a situation where I make an attempt not to live and then get injured, and then life's even worse. You know, at least if I have physical health, then I can work on the mental health. But if I have mental health issues and physical health issues, that's too much. That sounds like too much suffering for me. So yeah, physically I feel like I'm stuck here because any attempt could go wrong. So I'm trying to make the best of being stuck in this world that we live in. And yeah, if I can find things that I actually like in the real world, because I did used to do the fantasy stuff too, but fantasy stuff, you know, like books, movies, video games, whatever, I still do a little bit, but the contrast coming back to the real world was too much for me. Like, I would come out of those worlds and just see this world that we live in is garbage. It's a little bit more interesting these days with certain world events going on, but for the most part, it's not as exciting as fantasy worlds, and it's not as fulfilling as fantasy worlds, and nothing really makes sense. No one's in charge. There's no plan for the world. It's all just chaos, and it's like, what is the point of this? Yeah, so to find something in the real world that I actually like, that isn't pure logic, that could bring me to a more human state of being instead of like the sort of robotic state of being that the schizoid leave me in, I think that has value. And so I guess, you know, sensory therapy works for some people in the intended way, but as a schizoid, it might be worth trying to see if there is something that you like in the real world. And for me, it's these smelly things. And there are some, like, you know, the girlier smells are kind of boring, but once I got onto the more of the unisex ones, and like the premium scents that I got the unisex box, and there's some good stuff. The only one I don't like is coconut, because it reminds me of what a failure my ex was. Although I have since smelled something. Oh no, it wasn't coconut, it turned out to be vanilla. I thought I found a coconut smell that didn't suck, but no, actually it was vanilla. Yeah, I'm not very good at identifying smells. No, the coconut thing, it's just like, when I was living with him, there was this shopping mall, and on one side it had Woolies, and on the other side it had Aldi, and I tended to shop at Woolies and he tended to shop at Aldi, and one day he got me a body wash from Aldi because it was cheap, and it was this huge bulk pack, and it was coconut scented, but it was like cheap coconut, so it had this really horrible chemical smell, and it was disgusting, and I'm just like, you expect me to like wash myself with this? And like I did, and then I was like, ew, this is horrid. And so yeah, coconut just reminds me of that, and he was not good for me at all, and so I'm just like, yeah, I don't like coconut. So whenever I use, like I do use that one because it's like nicer coconut, and it's got other smells in it, but I tend to try and mask it with other things, and I guess I kind of use it. It's good to have some scents that I'm less into so that I can use them as a reset for my nose, so that when I go back to the ones that I do like, they smell even better by contrast. And I think that's important to have a constant cycle, because I think especially as a schizoid, if you have anhedonia, like if you get used to a smell, then it's just gonna die and just not be interesting anymore. So I keep my nose guessing. Every day I'm using a different one, and I now have this huge collection, which I'll show you in a moment. But yeah, no, huge deal for me to find something I like. Smell might not be your thing. I don't know. I know, like, I hate those shops where they have really strong leathery smells. I don't like that really strong, and I don't like, you know, when people have fancy cars and there's that new leather smell. I'm not a fan of it. It's too much. But these, I like the unisex ones, like the oud smells, and I like the cedar smells, and some of the more incense type smells. I actually like them. Sorry, mum, deal with it. Vanilla, rose, lavender. There's one that I have that I was wearing yesterday that smells kind of like chocolate mixed in with a bunch of other things. Like there's some, and then the by the fireplace one, the one that's burning smell. I mean, that one does also appeal to the dissociated part of me because violence, but no, it's actually like a really interesting smell, and it does smell like sitting by a fireplace, which I did as a kid. You know, if we went on traveling around somewhere to, like, you know, the middle of nowhere and they don't have normal heating systems, they have a fireplace, and you're like, ooh. Or if you go camping and you've got like a bonfire kind of thing going on. Yeah, no. I mean, I can't imagine, because I don't have this experience, I can't imagine what it's like if it turns out your thing is things that feel nice or look good, like visual stuff. I'm seeing things every day, and this is why I suck as an audience member at like a gallery, because I look at stuff and I'm like, some stuff is kind of interesting, but how long can I look at it? Listening to music, I've been struggling with. Actually, that is something that's a bit sad, is like I've struggled a bit to listen to music. I mean, music is a bit time consuming, but also I've just like felt less. Although I've been trying to get back into feeling music, because when I was younger, I think that's how I got a lot of the catharsis. And even actually last night I was dancing along to Cyrus, and it was interesting to observe myself doing that. I think I've got to talk about, someone gave me a question that had to do with dissociation in schizoid, and it made me think of this energy blocking theory, which I'll get into it later. But with schizoids, like, you know, we are very withdrawn and just don't give a whole lot away. And I think that means if we do have emotions, they're repressed, and maybe even like subconsciously, unconsciously, I don't know what's the difference. But so for me, to get some of that energy out as a kid, music would really help. And I think that's how I got into some of the more depressing stuff, because it's just letting out a lot of the darker, upsetting feelings that I had, and it lets that energy out. But outside of a social context, like I can just do in my room listening to music. So I need to get into that a bit more. But probably if music is going to help you, you already know, unless you just haven't found the right music yet. But otherwise it might not help. And I think I've been depressed enough in the past few years that music has had less of an effect. So I'm trying to get that back, but maybe with the smells, it also helps that it's a newer thing for me, whereas listening to music isn't. And as you get older, it does get harder to get into more music. Like, that is an actual phenomenon, not just for schizoids. You tend to form your music interests, I think they said, in like your teens and early 20s, and then after that, you know, it's hard for you to get into new music on average, for the average person. Some people will get into new music constantly for their whole lives. But yeah, your music tastes form fairly early, and then it is a thing that drops off. So combine that with schizoid and depression and hedonia. That's, I think, affected me musically. But I haven't had that issue with the smells, because that's still novel. I think schizoids tend to go, I mean, I have heard from other schizoids saying they keep trying new things because the novelty helps for a bit, but then the anhedonia and the lack of reward makes you lose interest in those things. So yeah, trying things that are new, and then also having new scents constantly, I think that's helping me stay a bit more interested. And it's less effort than makeup. So what have we covered? Sight, smell, hearing, touch. I'm not sure how you would do that. Maybe in terms of the clothes that you wear. And I have noticed that when I wear certain types of clothes, it does change the way I feel. It's just like comfy is so hard not to do. And so if I wear comfy slob clothes, I am more likely to spend my time being a slob. But if I dress up, and especially if it's something that's a little bit tighter and not as like loose and, you know, covering me completely, you know, it can change the way that you hold yourself, which is this weird, one of those weird subconscious things. So there's that, like the way that it holds your body and the way that it feels. Like if it's a little bit tighter, you're maybe more likely to fix your posture. Oh, I gotta say, these t-shirts, like, it's comfy, and that's why I'm wearing it today, because I thought I might have a nap, but I'm not napping. But yeah, these ones are good to nap in, because they're like, you know, the neck especially, it's not too tight. Some of the tea turtle ones, the neck feels a bit too tight. Like, it's not super tight, it's just a bit tight for when you want to be relaxed. Anyway, no, and then the other thing about clothes is if I, like, you know, there's the way it feels. So that's the main thing I'm talking about. But also if I see myself wearing something interesting, I'm much more likely to go out, because it feels like a waste to dress up and not go out. I don't understand YouTubers and other social media types who can dress up just to put something on the internet. Like, you know, even if they're just live streaming and they've got all their makeup on, I don't get it. No, if I'm going to dress up, I feel like I need to go out, and that's a way to trick myself into going out. So I guess some of this is about hacking your brain and how do you make yourself do stuff and get out there. But yeah, with the touch stuff, I guess that's the main thing I can think of, is changing the types of fabrics maybe might change the way that you feel, and just like the cut of the things that you're wearing might change the way you feel, could be interesting to experiment with. I guess maybe like your sheets with the bed, but should we really be encouraging depressed people to be in bed more? Probably not. Or I don't know, if you walk around barefoot, or you get Ugg boots. You can see the bag there. Yeah, what's the last one? Taste. Yeah, no, taste probably for schizoids and depressed people probably not going to help much, because there is this weird correlation with schizoids tending to be lower weight, and one of the theories was anhedonia, making it really hard to enjoy food, and so you don't eat as much. Because it's not as tasty as other people experience. Although potentially also having numbed feelings, schizoids might not necessarily feel as hungry. And then with depressed people, you lose interest in stuff, things don't taste as good, all the sensory stuff comes down a notch. But I think that's why you need something novel. So the smell is novel to me, and so the depression brain, the schizoid brain, isn't as able to turn the volume down on it. Yeah, so I think those are the 5 senses. I mean, sense of balance, that doesn't count in this context, right? And it also, like, these are more external things, and it's not just pure distraction like me fucking Ken is. Yeah. So those are some thoughts on sensory therapy. Let me now film for you. We're going to have to switch to the phone, which means I'm going to have to edit this damn video for you. I hope you enjoy that. I hope you appreciate it. But yeah, I'll show you some of the stuff that I've got, and you can see just how overboard I've gotten with the smells. I won't show you the oil burner and, essential oil thingy. Like, there's the wax melts and then there's the essential oils. I won't show you that because I haven't actually been using it, and I won't show you the diffuser because I don't want to go into the studio. I'll just show you the stuff that's in this room that I use more often. But yeah, you can see I've gone overboard. It's like with the makeup thing, and actually I've got a whole bunch of makeup stuff to show you in another video, so... God, I've got so many. I'm trying to catch up on all the videos this week. Anyway, let me get onto this. All right, munchkins, here's my perfume corner. So this is the first thing I got, the Scent God thing. And as you can see, there's, 8 different perfumes. The ones that I really like, so there's like Mancera. Oh, Instant Crush. That's actually really nice. And it actually lasts a long time. Like, these premium ones do tend to last longer. I can't see what I'm doing. It's really hard to do with one hand. There's also, like, this Oud Amazing one is pretty good. I don't know if I showed you these. Cocoa Vanille is the one that's got coconut, and I don't like it. This Nomad one, I don't know what the hype is. People are into that. I don't get it. Tom Ford one, it's okay. Starry Nights, I think, was good, but doesn't really stand out to me. This Vanilla 28 thing, pretty good. And then we've got, what was this one? Mancera. Yeah, I think Mancera is actually quite nice. And oh my god, they smell good. Then I've got, so on this side is all the Scent God ones. And so they started off with these kinds of case, and those are the ones that I showed when I got my first one and did that short. And this side, they're all the girly ones. Because I was letting them pick, because I don't know anything about perfumes, so I let them pick, but you had to put either feminine or masculine, when really I would prefer unisex, but I put feminine, because I don't want, like, the masculine I think is more like tobacco and leather, and I don't want those. Oh, sorry, I was paying too much attention to looking at myself instead of making sure I show you the things. But yeah, so girly scents. There are some, like, the more interesting one is probably the second one I got. Individual Femme. It's, like, feminine, but it's also kind of, like, interesting and weird. So that one I like. And then I think the next one along... Oh, it's so hard to do this. That one smells kind of good, but then it started to get really boring. So after this one, which was really boring, just feminine floral stuff, I started picking ones myself, going through their catalog, and that's where the gold ones come in. And it just so happens that, like, letting them pick, they had the old case, and then as soon as I switched, they happened to get the new case, and so it's just like it's not a twist one anymore, it's just like that. And these ones I've started choosing mainly unisex scents, but there are some feminine ones that have interesting things going on. So this one, actually the one in the purple one has more of an oud smell, which is similar to this one, but it's not premium because I didn't get the premium subscription. And then this one there is the chocolatey one, and then there's a few more different ones. And then also every now and then they send you like a mini sample. These are pretty basic. So the first one is like gardenia, and then this one is like some kind of rose one, but it's a little bit more interesting than regular rose. Okay, and then actually before I got those, I went out with a friend, Zimvus. Check out her channel. And we got these oils, so they're like roll-on perfume oils. And then this is a thing that I've had for ages that someone gave me. I don't even know what it's for, but it's like, smells like rose. Cool. Just knocking everything over. I don't even know how much you care. Then these ones are from Tragic Beautiful Ava. This is like probably my favorite one. It smells like the Egyptian shop. And then the next one over smells like another shop that used to be in Newtown. And they had a lot of gothic stuff. So amber and teak, more scented. And then I kind of got nuts because like those are the ones that aren't too expensive, but they last a long time. And look how huge the bottle is. And so I tend to use these after a shower. Dragon's blood scented. I don't even know what that's supposed to be, but it's kind of, that's probably the weirdest one. And then this one, Neptune black amber and lavender scented, is pretty nice. And so I'm thinking like I'll start, they also make body washes and hand washes and also hand creams, and I might start getting some of them once some of my other stuff runs out. This one, these are roll-on perfumes from Tragic, and that's the first one they gave me. Ginger and black orchid smells nice. And then I got a couple of others. I noticed though when I first try them, because I've been making unboxings, I just haven't got around to posting any of them. But I noticed when I unbox them and first smell them, I often can't really smell what they are because a lot of the time I've already had smelly things on me. So I have to do these things first thing in the day, in the morning, to really smell them and make sure my nose is properly reset. But yeah, no, they actually smell nice. So my initial reactions to them were like, I'm not sure. But yeah, then they smell nice. But this one, I think I got this from Berserk, but Tragic has also carried them. Drop Dead Gorgeous. It's kind of the trouble with this one, like it's bigger and I wanted to support a local business, but once, like I can smell it when I take the lid off and just have a sniff, but once I spray it on me, I go immediately nose blind and then I can't smell it. Even if I bring that up to my nose, I can't smell it. So that's a bit of a shame because even though people around me can probably smell it and it's nice enough, I cannot smell it on me. So that kind of defeats the purpose of it. Which is a real shame. I have heard that I think it's a dupe of a different, like more expensive perfume. I've heard that even with the more expensive perfume, you need to get some oxygen in there to make it really work, but I think that's not the issue. I think my nose just reacts strangely to it. Anyway, so those are the perfumes. If you're still here, well done. Scent God came with this cute little case, but I don't carry them around. I only just do them in the morning. But my psychologist has suggested when I'm having one of those huge breakdowns, maybe I should grab one of these and spray it and see if that helps me come out of it. The trouble is when I'm having a breakdown, I'm generally not thinking about the scents and all that. So, yeah, I don't know. Moving on. We have Candle Corner and a few other things. So this is the first scented candle, and this is the one that my godmother got me when Hope passed away. Oh, it's really nice. And, you know, sometimes like I can burn it for a bit and then just leave it there, like blown out. And sometimes when I walk into my room past it, I can still smell it, which is really nice. Like coming into my room and going, ooh, that's fun. And then I got another one in a hamper, and this smells more like pine. Yeah, kind of a weird, interesting one. I forget, does it say on it? No, not bad. Yeah, I don't know. But it's a different, very different smell. And then this is one I got from Mecca. I can't remember, I probably showed you. It's a room spray. The spray mechanism is not really well designed and it dissipates quickly, so can't really recommend it. But here's some cheap candles that I haven't used, but it's fun to sniff them now and then. So these ones smell like caramel. And then these ones have, I don't know what you would call that. They remind me of soap, but then soap can smell like so many other things. So, I don't know. I haven't used them, as you can see. But even just pulling that out from the corner, I just got a huge whiff of the caramel smell. Sometimes this is good to spray, even though it doesn't last very long, just when I want to get rid of a smell. Or like, you know, I live with my disabled brother. He wears nappies. Sometimes smells linger, and so I'll just spray that behind him. This one I got in a Mecca box I haven't used yet. Apparently it's a big deal. Cool. Black birthday candles, they don't smell like anything. That's just a freebie I got. But so that's like the main scented corner. At the moment with the deodorants, they're mostly boring ones. There's just like one... Sorry, my hand is over the front-facing camera. There's one that's different. So I guess this was not one of those fun times where Mum went a bit nuts. Okay, moving on into the bathroom. So... I mean, there are some things that, actually, before we do that, I will just show you, I've got, big pump bottle of very basic hand cream, which especially during COVID was handy, because if you're washing your hands so much, it feels better if you use something like that. Also, use it on your feet. Legit. It's really nice. But yeah, I am sort of gradually changing. I just knocked over. I don't want to show you my desk because it's got my address on the thing, but this is a hand cream from Aesop that I got ages ago, and I've started using that only at night, like right before I go to bed, so that I maximize how much time I get with it. But it's really nice, rose scented, and almost empty. So then for my birthday, my brother and his girlfriend, the not disabled brother, got me this, amongst other things. Mandarin rind, rosemary leaf, cedar atlas. It's a hand cream. And so I will start using that as my nighttime one. But I am thinking once this runs out, Tragic makes the Ether, I don't know how you pronounce it. They make the same scents range as hand creams. And so maybe I'll, instead of buying these bulk things, I'll start switching my hand cream up. It's just because you wash your hands a lot. Do you really want to be using all that up? Speaking of hands, this is the current hand soap that I'm using. Rosewood and jasmine. I've already gone nose blind to it. So, yeah, sad face, but it's a cheap one. And this is the one that I use for the makeup brushes. It's a Lush soap. And, yeah, it still smells really strongly, even though I haven't, like, put any water on it to activate it. Those are just boring. So this is something that I'm not compromising on, is just basic skincare stuff, because Mecca did give me some samples for skincare stuff, and actually there's some other ones that maybe I will try, but I'm scared. But the basic stuff doesn't screw up my skin. So fragrance stuff can irritate your skin, and your face is more sensitive. So don't, if you're looking for stuff, be careful with that. Try samples. Don't commit to a whole bottle until you know you're not going to react. And try the sample a few times, because sometimes you won't react the first day, but you will react the second day. Okay, what else? Once I run out of the hand cream, I've got one of the other ones, and this one I actually got as, Tragic, they have a points loyalty thing, and their points system, like the prizes you get, are actually good. Unlike Berserk, who mostly just use it to get rid of trash they can't sell. That is actually a prize that I got for free, and it looks nice. I haven't smelled it yet, but that's going to be my next hand wash. Now, as for I'll show you in the shower. There's no catching the water, even though we're not in drought. It's just a habit. So I was using the shampoos. There's this series of stuff. So when I was working bonsai, my boss's wife is a hairdresser, and I had colored hair, and so she got that for me. Because I only wash my hair once a week, it's lasted a really long time, like a couple of years, and that's the conditioner that goes with it. And then this is some other thing. I don't really understand what it's supposed to do, but it's supposed to, I don't know, maybe help with bleach damage or something. 60-second treatment. Yep, I was using that just because it kind of smelled nice and kind of made my hair feel nice, but it's not really necessary as far as I know. I know the focus is terrible. Yeah, I don't know. Amplifies natural color luminosity, blah, blah, whatever. Anyway, it's basically finished, so I'm gonna get rid of them. And I think they smelled good, but I already got nose blind. So I do have this as a mecha sample. It's okay, but I'm just using that so that when I run out of shampoo, this shampoo, I have this one to hold me over until I can come back to this. So different shampoo. It's still cheap, but it smells nice. And yeah, I have the matching conditioner. I probably shouldn't have got matching. But you know, it was cheap. I think they smell the same. I didn't really, maybe they're slightly different. And then for body wash at the moment, I switched from the huge bulk stuff that my mum was getting me. I got this from Mecca, and it's actually a really interesting smell. And so, like, it's supposed to be a mindfulness wash, it claims, and, you know, I guess, wellness wash. And then they talk about mindfulness shit somewhere. I think I did an unboxing live for this, maybe. But it does smell good. And it smells different. Instead of just being floral, it has like a different kind of a smell in it. And so, like, I've noticed since I started doing this stuff, like starting to use nicer stuff in the shower, I actually hate showering less because I don't like showering. I just, you know, you have to get wet and then get dry again and then do it all over again. And it's such an ordeal. And especially I think when I had longer hair, it took a long time for everything to dry and it's just an uncomfortable feeling. But since I started doing these things and like just enjoying the smell and getting into the sensory stuff, it's actually helped me not hate showering so much. Anyway, once that runs out, then I have this one, which is also from my brother and his girlfriend. Different kind of Satsuma body wash. And it's only a little one, so I probably won't go nose blind to it too quickly. And then I switched to something else. But yeah, so different stuff. And so I've started telling people to, you know, if they want to buy me stuff, buy me things that smell nice. Yeah, and it is helping me with not hating showering. So that's actually another benefit if you're someone like me who does not like the showering. Anyway, so this turned out to be a really long video, but that gives you an idea of how I've been approaching sensory therapy, the unexpected benefit of it, and what I've actually gotten, how I've gotten carried away, and I still have my Scent God subscription. And will I continue it into next year and pay for another year? I haven't decided yet because you know, they're designed so that each of those little ones, it's designed so that you can do like 4 sprays a day for a month before you get your next one. And I'm only doing like maybe 2 sprays a day, you know, 1 to get the thing working and then 1 to make sure it goes where I want. Like, you know, I just do so they're all lasting ages. And then of course I'm alternating them with other perfumes. So maybe I should cancel my subscription. Although they're like, I did put other ones on my, like, you know, you can have a list, you set up your queue, and I think I've got 1 too many on my queue, so I need to get rid of one if I'm not going to continue into next year. And I think I should probably stop it until I've actually finished some of these perfumes. But yeah, no, it's just, yeah. And especially if Mecca, so actually, I am like $50 away from getting to level 3 of Mecca. And this, like, you know, I think just yesterday at the time of filming, they dropped the level 3 gift for this month. And it is fragrances. And it's taking so much discipline for me not to go up to Mecca and just buy any old random shit so that I will get to level 3 and qualify for extra smells. Because I do have too many. So maybe I should cancel the Scent God subscription once I finally get there. But it's actually been good. And I did have one come through the mail broken and they replaced it. So that, like, you know, it's not like some dodgy company. They're actually doing things right by the customer, I feel. Anyway, yeah, so that's my ramble on sensory therapy. And if you have made it this far, well done. Fix your posture. Buy me shirts. I like the white one for summer. yeah, and today it's starting to get warmer in Sydney again, although my room is like the most innermost in the house. So it takes a while to heat up, and it's the coldest room in the house. So that's why I'm still wearing layers of fluff in the middle of a warm, sunny day. Yep, sensory therapy. I've got to, oh shit, this took a lot longer than I meant it to. I've got to get back to Triton, and I've got to have some lunch. But yeah, I hope I covered the main things and like my discovery of realizing that I like these smelly things, and like I guess like it's like a touch of luxury in my sad life where nothing much really seems to happen and I have no energy anymore to make things happen in my life, and it's just one of those things that makes it a little bit more bearable, and it does catch my attention in the morning and occasionally through the day. I need to see if the next time I have a breakdown, if I can remember to go and have a smell of something. Will that help me? I don't know. I think the biggest deal is just finding something that I actually like that doesn't have anything to do with logic or escapism even. It's not even escapism, it's a real world thing. It's just one of those things that taps into something deeper, I guess, that's not logic. It's subconscious, and that's a big deal as someone with this much mental illness. And with that, I'm gonna go before I make this video any longer than it already is. Comment something about potatoes in the... No, we already did potatoes, and some of them will know about the potatoes. If you got this far, make it a baked potato. Comment something about baked potatoes. Comment something about how good baked potatoes smell. If you got to this part of the video, in the comments, just to like confuse people, talk about how good baked potatoes smell. You can throw in some different herbs if you like, but that's going to be today's random code word. And just to throw off people who skip to the end of the video to find code words, what should I ramble about? Yes, I am just wasting time. I need to get back into some more music, but music is a little bit harder. I find the visual arts easier at the moment. Although, because last week was so social, I am now catching up with all my YouTubing and trying to just get through some of the video ideas that I've been wanting to talk about stuff for a while. So hopefully I will get through a bunch of stuff. I have been eating way too many lollies lately. Yeah, no, I'm trying to catch up with all that, and then hopefully next week I do have one big event, and then next month I've got one event, but then I think my life will slow down, and maybe I need to just not tax myself as much, because like this month was really busy. And I was trying to do something every week, and I ended up doing too much, and I'm really glad this week had nothing on. And then yeah, next month is fairly chill. I think I just, like, it's too much. I am trying to challenge the whole schizoid thing, but I need my space, I need to decompress, and it's taking me the whole fucking week. So I'm making YouTube videos, but then hopefully once I get back on track and feel, or maybe I should just do it anyway, because if I wait to feel right, then I won't get anything done. But yeah, this week I feel like I need to make YouTube videos, and then I'll get back into the visual arts. And then at some point, hopefully I'll get back into the music, or maybe my band will finally be ready for me to do stuff again. I don't know, we'll see. Anyway, that's the video. I know, too many false endings. Get yourself something nice to smell. By the Fireplace is expensive, but if you want, okay, so By the Fireplace, I would say, is like the cult scent. But if you want another cult-approved scent, these are the two that I would suggest. So this one, the one that smells like the Egypt shop, it's the Lovecraft Nag Champa scent. I don't know how to pronounce it. Also Arcanum, the Amber Antique Moss, the one that smells like that goth shop in Newtown that has been closed for many years now, but it reminds me so much of that. Also cult approved. So By the Fireplace would be my top pick, but these epic as well. So if you're looking for something and you're part of the cult or whatever, I'm going. Okay, shut up, paper vampire, I'm going.